Hello and welcome back. I'm so glad to be doing this review today. This is going to be a special review of one of my favorite films. It's got a special place in my heart, and I'm glad to share it with you guys today. This is actually going to be a review for Sergeant York, the remastered Blu-ray. And this is something that I've waited a long time to get a hold of, and I think you're going to be really excited and enjoy this review. So stick around here with me. Before we get into this review for this Blu-ray, I do want to cover a couple of things with you guys here. So make sure that you like, subscribe, and then also if you want to comment below, that's fine as well, and give it a thumbs up. Make sure to give each video a thumbs up and then share any of these videos, and please make sure to subscribe as well. Also below there is the bell notification. If you click that bell notification, it'll notify you when I release new videos just like this one today, so that way you know as they come out, so you can go out and watch it and be one of the first ones to see the new review I put out. So definitely please make sure you like, subscribe, share this content, and then also make sure to click the bell notification. There are shirts available from my channel, and they just help support the channel so that I can keep growing, keep bringing you more new content, more exciting content as it comes available. So anything that you do buy, if you buy any shirts like this, V-neck shirts, they're available for men and women in all the size ranges, bunch of different colors, and they come just like this. But anything you buy on there does support me, and that will be posted right below in the description of this video. The top link there will be to go to the website where you can purchase those, and it's pretty simple. That's all that's on the website. It's the two different men's and women's shirts in different colors. You order them and they ship them straight to your house. So I appreciate all the support you guys have been giving. Make sure that, like I said, you like, subscribe, and share, and then also get yourself a shirt. All right, let's dive into this review here. This one here is actually kind of an interesting thing because it took me a long time to find this. I was interested to find out about how the content and the quality of this was truly going to be. And I'm not trying to spoil this for anyone, but I do like to cover a little bit about the story of the film and what makes the film such a great movie, and kind of go into that a little bit. And then I'll go into, obviously, the review of the disc, any special features, things like that. But I do want to cover a little bit about the actual film itself, because some of you might not have watched this or heard of it, because like I said, it hasn't been released on Blu-ray until this copy, this edition that exists here. So Sergeant York is kind of a really interesting story. He's an American hero, first of all. It's based on a true story from Sergeant York's actual diaries. And it was filmed in 1941, and he's an American war hero from World War I. And it was kind of an interesting thing because his name is Alvin C. York. Sergeant York was what they called him when he was actually in the military. But Howard Hawks is actually the director of this film. And if any of you know anything about film history and things like that, Howard Hawks was very, very well-known director back in the, I think it was from like the 1930s to like the 1950s, 60s, somewhere around there. So he did a lot of films, and he was very, very popular director, did a very, very good job. But anyhow, he actually was the one that directed the film, and it was the highest grossing film of that entire year. There wasn't any other film that for the entire year of release that came out in theaters that made more money than Sergeant York did. If you know anything about Gary Cooper, he's actually a very well-known actor as well. Gary Cooper was actually personally asked by Alvin C. York, who is actually Sergeant York. He was asked personally that that's who would portray him. That was the only person that Alvin C. York even wanted to portray him in the movie. And I thought that was very interesting because Gary Cooper does a great job, even with the Tennessee drawl and the accent and things like that. He did a great job. And to give you a little bit of background here, so the movie is based obviously on the diaries of Alvin C. York that he wrote, and that's how they actually wrote the movie based on that. But what's interesting about this is after they made the movie, the actual movie itself got an Academy Award for Best Actor for Gary Cooper. So that's how big of a movie this was. He actually got an Academy Award for that. The film also won Best Film Editing. It also won Best Picture Director and Supporting Actor, Supporting Actress, and then it also, the American Film Institute ranked this film number 57 in the top 100 films. And it's actually saved now in the National Film Registry as one of the greatest American hero films of all time. So it's definitely got a lot of storied history behind not only Sergeant York himself, Alvin C. York, but the movie itself, Sergeant York, is highly, highly recommended. Now that it's on Blu-ray, it's extremely exciting. It is a inspirational film, and what I mean by that is I'm a Christian and I follow after the Lord, and this film is about a man that starts off, and I'm not trying to spoil it here, I'm just giving you the premise of the beginning of the movie. I'm not going to give everything away, but he actually starts off as basically a drunkard, and he would get in fights and beat people up, and he was a drunkard. He was living a life of sin. It's such a great story of that he finds the Lord, gives his life to the Lord, changes his life completely, and what he does that affects everybody, not only in the town that he was born and raised in, and those people's lives, but then also thousands of troops' lives and things, and what he does then too. Very, very good film. I love how it shows what a man of Christ did to help others out, and it's just a great inspirational film. If you like war films, it is a war film, but it's more or less a biography about his life leading up to that. The war then is the last half of the film. One of those films you'll watch and you'll say, man, that really, really inspires you to change your life. I mean, it just does. So Sergeant York, highly recommended for the movie, the content, the film itself. I definitely recommend it. Now, Gary Cooper, I've always liked. He did several Western movies that I've liked, that eventually I'm going to do reviews as well of some of his movies that haven't been released in the US as well. But this one is not a US release. And I'm going to tell you about it, and this is what's interesting. Even though it is in English up here, and it has Gary Cooper and Sergeant York, it obviously says Howard Hawks is who directed it, and it has a list of all the actors below it. It's not actually a US release. So when I flip it over here, you're going to see it's all in German. So it does have English intermixed throughout the actual cover, and the front is in English. The back of it and the side of the spine is actually, if you see here, it says Sergeant York in English. And then I'll show you back here. This is all in German on here. And so it does have English intermixed with it, talking about 1941 was when it was filmed, things like that. And then it goes through and breaks down on here special features. Now, the interesting thing about the set itself is, because this was released in Germany, it hasn't been released in the US. It hasn't even been, as far as I know, other than saved in the film registry, it hasn't even been released. I've looked everywhere. This is the only release that I've been able to find of this, remastered on Blu-ray. And the remaster on it is a decent job. There is, as far as my understanding when I researched it, it was damaged. The film itself was damaged. Basically, after it was filmed, it wasn't stored very well. So the film itself is pretty heavily damaged. They did a decent job upgrading this. Now, am I going to say it's perfect? It's not. I'm going to break it down for you as we're going along, show you and explain. Here's what I think looked great. Here's what didn't, kind of go through that. But I'm going to talk about here the back of it here for just a minute. I do want to cover some of this. It is in full HD 1080p. It does have the black bars on the side, obviously, because it wasn't widescreen back then. That's not how it was filmed. So it is going to be in what they call pillar boxed, 1.33 1080p pillar boxed. So you'll have the pillars on the sides. But that's just the way it was filmed originally, and that's how it is. Now, this is what's very interesting about it is not only is it 1080p, it does have DTS HD master audio. Audio options are either German 2.0 or English 2.0. That's it. There's no 5.1, 7.1. It just wasn't available at that time, and they didn't have any way, unless they were going to redo and make the sound themselves to make it that. They just haven't. But it is DTS HD Master Audio 2.0, and that is English and German. So whether you buy it in Germany and you have it there and you watch it in German, or whether you live in the US or the UK or anywhere else and you buy it, it is going to be in HD Master Audio English. So you can play it just fine. No subtitles appeared on it at all. You simply chose the language option in the menu, played it in English just like any English Blu-ray would. Nothing special you had to do at all. So that was great. It does have audio commentary on it. It also does have a trailer. The original trailer is on there. And then it has some little like posters, and I'll kind of give you an idea here. Up here I'm going to give you a picture of what it looks like on the main menu, where it has some of the original theatrical posters listed out, so you can go in and see it. And I thought that was a nice touch for them to do on it, instead of just making a cover art for it. It shows the original theatrical poster on there, and then another poster next to it. So I did like that. The commentary was a nice addition to this as well. And having it in English, and it plays in English perfectly, I love that. So there's no downside to buying this version of the Blu-ray. Now, talking about the Blu-ray itself here, and this is where things are a little bit interesting. On the screen quality of it, and I'll show you, there is some screen tears where they tried to fix it as good as they could. I'll try to post some pictures here to give you a little bit of an idea of some of the damage to the film that's on there. They heavily fixed a lot of it, and you're going to be surprised if you've ever seen the original DVDs or the VHSs. They looked horrible. sounded horrible and looked horrible. And I'm going to try to later on here give you a comparison hopefully of what the DVDs look like in one screen versus the Blu-ray here. But for right now, we're just going to talk about the damage on the films for right now. So they do have some damage on them, and they did fix quite a lot of it. I mean, you'll notice if you ever played them side by side, they did a great job remastering this. And there are some scenes that are just incredibly sharp that I really thought looked great. And then there's some other ones that you can tell that they're pretty damaged. So it's a mixed bag as far as the remaster process. Because of what they're working with being damaged, there was only so much that my understanding that they could do to it. And I'm okay with that because it looks hands down better than what you would have had on DVD or VHS. And having it with DTS audio, the audio sounds clear, it's better, it's crisp. Heck, some of the times when the explosions or shots were being fired, it was actually loud. So it does a great job with the audio, and the visual quality is as good as I think it's ever going to get. I don't know that there's much they could do beyond what they did with this set that is going to make it look any better than what this Blu-ray edition does. Now here's what's going to really surprise you on this set. This set is region free. That means doesn't matter where you live, even though on the back here, and I'll put a picture up here to show you what it says on here on the back, but I'm just showing you here, it does say it's region B only. It is not. So I tested this in all 4 of my different Blu-ray players. So I tested it in my region-free Blu-ray player, which I knew would play in that anyways because it's all regions anyways. Then I put it in my regular American Region A Samsung Blu-ray player. I tried it in my Xbox One S, my Xbox One S, my PS4 Blu-ray player, and it didn't matter. All of them played. No issues, no problems whatsoever. So it plays in all of them. So if you buy this set and you buy this Blu-ray set here and you get the Blu-ray, you're not going to have to worry about what it plays in, what it does or it doesn't. You can play it in anything, which I thought that was amazing too, because sometimes you get something you got to have a special Blu-ray player. You don't. You buy this, you can play it in any player in the US, in Europe, in Ireland, in Germany, in France, in China, and Japan. It doesn't matter. So that was great. So that was a big bonus of this one. Now, I'm going to show you inside here. Now, it does have a reversible cover. The only difference on the reversible cover is it has a little sticker up here that tells you that the edition is limited. And then it has a logo saying it's for 12 years up, basically, because there's war violence in it. So they tell you that that's what their rating system is over in Germany. So anyhow, so it does have that listed on there. I reversed the cover so that way it's obviously the English cover. So that's the one I'm using. But you can put either cover you want. You just reverse the outside of it. Other than that, there's no pamphlet in it, which I was fine with that. The case is very nice. The disc was really nice. I did like that they had the Sergeant York on there, all in English. So if somebody were to come over to your house and see this, even if they saw the side's fine, it looks like it's just an English release. It just says Sergeant York right on it. Can't tell you the difference. It says Blu-ray disc on it just like normal, and then the front looks like an English. Unless they flip it to the back and see the German writing on it, they're not really going to notice anything different on that. Being region free is a huge thing because I try to give you guys on this channel a lot of basically whether it's going to be region free or whether you have to play it in a special Blu-ray player. This one you don't, and that's a big thing because it makes it easy for a lot of you that don't want to spend the money for a region free Blu-ray player. You can go out and buy this without having to worry about that. Now, a lot of people have commented recently about that some of the stuff they try to buy on like Amazon.de, which is the Germany Amazon website. That's where you're going to buy this set at, is Amazon.de. And basically if you go to Amazon.de, and I'll post a link right here. It's not a link, but basically a description of what it is. It's pretty simple when you go there. It's the Amazon Germany website, and you can buy this through there. Now they do have it on Amazon.co.uk. There are some available sellers in the US that are selling this on like eBay and Amazon's regular website. But I will tell you right now, as far as I know, this is only a one printing, which means they're doing a one set printing of this. My copy is number 989 of 1,000. Basically, they're not selling them in the order of from 1 to 1,000. They're just shipping them out randomly. So even though mine says 989 of 1,000, that doesn't, I don't know what they're at, and I don't know that any of us know except for the manufacturer how many they've sold of them, but it's still available. There's 1,000 copies of this first printing that's available, and they do number them. Each one is numbered on the bottom. So that is a nice collector's piece that if you do want to collect the movie and have it for your collection, they are numbered individually, each one, and supposedly this first printing is only going to be 1,000 of this remastered Sergeant York. Now, if you go to buy it and they don't ship it at this time, that does not mean they're not going to ship to the US in the future. I've had a lot of comments of people saying, well, I can't get a hold of something right now. Because of what's going on around the world, basically some of the Amazon websites have either limited shipping to certain areas or stopped shipping. It does not mean they're not going to in the future. It just means for the moment they've stopped the shipping of certain items, and they will put it back available and it'll be shipping as normal, I'm assuming. It goes on and off, to be honest. So I've had some stuff ship that I've ordered, and then some stuff I couldn't even order because it wouldn't ship. And then a week or two later, or 3 weeks later, I went back on there and then it did let me ship it, and then the other stuff wasn't available. So you just gotta look on there. I don't have any algorithm to give you guys to say, hey, it's the virus and what's going on around the world has basically changed everything. So I can't tell you one thing or the other that's going to be available or it's not. That's just the way things are right now. So just have patience with it. It is worth your time to order this stuff and to wait for it. If they don't let you order it right now, just keep checking every once in a while. Put it on your calendar or something and check it every once in a while, because they are available and you can get them. So Sergeant York, highly recommended. I love the story, the fact of what he did and how he helped others, and I mean the story that he was a Christian and gave his life to the Lord and influenced others, and what he did to basically change his life from, he was doing nothing except beating up people, getting drunk, and then he went and actually saved thousands of people's lives and hundreds of people's lives. I mean, I don't know the exact number, but what a wonderful story, and I highly recommend it. One of my favorite films. I'm going to post up here as well talking about the difference between the DVD quality and the Blu-ray quality. So on this side here, I'm going to show you the DVD quality here, and this is just going to give you an idea of how bad some of the scenes were on the DVD side of it. Now on this side, I'm going to give you here the Blu-ray quality, and this is going to give you an idea of the difference and upgrade of the Blu-ray. This Blu-ray did not cost very much either, and that surprised me. I actually got it for less than finding an old DVD copy of it in the US was. So if you wait, or you find a seller that's selling it, it didn't cost very much. But you'll see the difference here between the DVD quality and obviously the Blu-ray quality. And the Blu-ray quality is a huge step up. Yes, it does still have some screen tearing in it, but they fixed a ton of it. They made it clearer and sharper. There are some artifacting, and I'm not gonna lie to you. Some people have said, oh, do you notice artifacting in some of these? At the beginning of the film, where it's heavily damaged, it seems like the beginning of the film reel must have had the most damage. They digitally tried to fix some of it, and you can see some digital squares, which is artifacting, in the dark black sections of the lower parts of the screen sometimes. And that was mostly at the beginning that you noticed it, and then the rest of it, I didn't see it again. So there was a little bit of artifacting, but again, for the price and the amount, considering this film has not been released on Blu-ray or remastered by anyone else, it's well worth your money and well worth your time. Because of it having damage to the film, it's hard to give it a score that's negative because of that, because I don't know that anybody's going to be able to fix the damage to the film later on when they go to remaster it, if they ever do it again. I think this is about as good as it's ever going to get. So taking that into account, because it's such a wonderful film and the story, and because I think this is probably the best we're ever going to get of it, this release is going to get an 8.9. And I love the film. I absolutely love the film. It's one of those films that I highly recommend to everybody. If you watch it with an open heart and mind, I mean, it's an inspirational film. It's something that, especially as a Christian, you see that, I mean, it's something that changed their life and gave their life to the Lord, and that makes a big difference. But the Blu-ray quality is great. The screen quality is great. I love how it's in English on the front. So, I mean, it does get a good score. Is it the highest here? It's not. And the reason why it can't get above a 9.0, why it's an 8.9, is simply because the film is damaged, and you're going to see that even though they remastered it, it's not as good a remaster as some. It does look great over the DVDs and VHSs, but it's still an 8.9 simply because there are damage and artifacting in a little bit of the film. And so because of that, I can't say it's a perfect Blu-ray release. I love the film, and that went into the score. That's why it got an 8.9. It is a great film. So with that, I am disappointed that I couldn't give you guys one that, hey, it's a 9.9, but I try to always be honest up front with you guys about the scoring system, and I take points off of it based on, hey, it had this damaged, or it had this that wasn't done correctly in the film, or hey, it had artifacting, whatever the case is. So that affects the score. So that's why I love the film and everything, but it is an 8.9. But highly recommend the film. A wonderful, inspirational film. I loved it. Highly recommend it. Get yourself a copy. Again, 8.9 for that review. I appreciate every one of you joining me today. I know this one was a little bit of a shorter review, and some of you have said you like the longer ones and things, but I just wanted to cover this one and go over this. I watched it again here since I've gotten it and wanted to make sure that I gave you a new review here to watch. I hope you've all enjoyed this today. Again, as always, I've enjoyed my time I've gotten to spend with you, and I hope you've all enjoyed this as well. I love doing these reviews, and I hope that you guys will continue to watch them and subscribe and share. So as always, please make sure that you subscribe, you share these videos, like them, give them a thumbs up for me. That always helps me out too. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And then also, if you want to go to the website and buy yourself a shirt, that's always greatly appreciated. Any of this money that comes from the shirts just goes straight back into the channel. It's how I keep doing this and keep the channel going. So definitely please check out my website. It's down below in the description. You can click on that and go on there and buy a shirt and have it shipped to your house, and then you can wear it out supporting In Search of Physical Media. I appreciate all the support from all of you, and I appreciate all the likes and the comments. Keep them coming. Make sure you subscribe, you like, and then you share this video as well, please. And I hope every single one of you has a blessed day, and keep coming back. I'll have a lot more great content coming soon, but all of you have a blessed day, and thanks for watching. Talk to you next time.